smokes, news and weather, music and jokes. See on the porch in my favorite house coat, it's the Sarah Beth Terry Show. She's a feral Christian out in the wild, the cigarette mom with a queen bee style, talking or singing about somebody you know. It's the Sarah Beth Terry, the Sarah Beth Terry, it's the Sarah Beth Terry Show. I'm Sarah Beth Terry, and you're not.
I keep hearing this chirp over the hill. I think it's a wild turkey, but part of me wants to put on my gumboots and go see if Tammy's come back from the dead. I know she's not, but that's the same kind of sound it is. But that's what I keep hearing down over the hill. Is that fan too loud? Because it is hot on my porch, and I have a Rural King fan blowing on me. But if it's too loud, then I'll turn it off. Just wanted to ask. Hi. Today is your porch paper for Thursday, August the 27th, 2026. It's also Josh Carter's birthday, not that anybody cares. When I was a little girl, my mom made me memorize everybody in my homeroom's birthday, and I would call them before school on their birthday and sing them happy birthday. So was Facebook before Facebook was Facebook. Today's editorial position, Sarah Beth has already been to the gym and taken a nap. At this point, anything else accomplished today is gravy. I was at the gym before the sun came up. Did I work out? No. Did I get in the tanning bed? Yes. Shut up. I walk around my neighborhood. I'd rather walk in real life than walk on a treadmill in the same place and not go nowhere. And God love it, Marsha was there today. Marsha, my favorite person at Planet Fitness, Marsha, she's 78. She tells me that every time that I'm there. She's 78. She works at Planet Fitness. And every single time that I go and she's like, have you signed the tanning forms? I was like, I did 17 years ago when I got this black card membership. Well, you're not a member of this club. I was like, no, I'm a member of all clubs, Marsha. That's why I'm a black card club member. So I go to any one of these bastards and take a friend with me. Like, I don't know why this is such a, every single day. Every single day. I'm going to wear her down. That's going to be my personal mission for the next couple weeks, is to make Marsha not an asshole. I literally was like, I like your nails. She's like, thanks. I was like, if you don't like your job, you could have retired 14 years ago. But Marsha, you're the one that's messing up my monkey this morning, so try not to cuss as much. It is Thursday, August the 27th, and apparently I have entered my athletic elderly era, because I have already been to the gym, and then I came home and promptly took a nap. And then I got woke up by a process server who wasn't looking for me. He was looking for somebody across town. I was like, you're in the wrong neighborhood, bud. Read your numbers. He goes, I am in the wrong neighborhood. I was like, yeah. Nobody's serving me shit. Unless it's caviar on a silver platter. And by that I mean an L8 in a green bottle. I feel like I'm really balanced this morning. Some people call it recovery. I call it earning the right to lay back down. So, pour something in a cup, pull up your chair, and keep your Bibles open, because while I was asleep, the world continued, and here's the news. The big stories today: the Iranian war now hit 6 months. The war involving the United States, Israel, and Iran has now reached the 6-month mark with no clear end in sight. None at all. Reuters reports that Iran has not surrendered. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains severely disrupted, and the conflict has become increasingly unpopular in the United States. Qatar is making another diplomatic push in Tehran as regional governments look for some kind of off-ramp. Seems like they need one of them like emergency off-ramps that you see coming down 75. You know? Tesca, we will remember you in our prayers. I'm sorry that you're feeling bad, and we're praying for your recovery. The translation of Iran, that little stretch of water called the Strait of Hormuz, continues to be the most consequential pieces of real estate on earth. While traffic gets disrupted there, the rest of us eventually notice it at the pump, in the shipping costs, and everywhere else that we like to spend money. Can't we just send me over there with a cheese ball? Like, I think I could fix this in like 15 minutes with a switch off a forsythia bush, a Bible, a belt, and a cheese ball. I'd be like, first of all, betting who the Yahoo, you need to sit down and read your own book. because you're mistaken. Okay, dose. We need to get Ayatollah Lulu to Baba Mau Mau and give him a good haircut and put him in a pair of pants that's more comfortable than that linen sack. And then when you look at Trump and be like, we're going to take your phone away from you and you're grounded. Gas is now $3. We can now afford groceries. Everybody can go selling for free. Quit it! Don't make me pull a cigarette, Mom, because I sure as hell will. I know how to get there. I've got a map. Okay, catastrophic flooding in Asia. One of the day's grimmest international stories is catastrophic flooding caused by a glacier collapse. Did you see this? The Associated Press morning roundup reporting that at least 273 people are dead and more than 1,300 are missing. Did y'all see that on TikTok? Did you stomach it through it looked like the end of 2012. That glacier come over that hillside and it took everything with it. Everything with it. Like there was no time to get out of the way. Like it was terrifying to watch. So prayers for the people that are in this slide. That's just terrible. The world is just, it's collapsing around us, in case that you didn't know this. We're at the end of the world. So, the Meta settlement is enormous. Meta has reached a landmark settlement with 47 states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. territories concerning child safety and social media. The agreement could total as much as $17.1 billion and includes additional restrictions affecting 10 accounts. Maybe you start raising your kids and don't let them have a phone until they have a driver's license. Just saying. The only people they know live at home with them. I know things are weird and there's school shooters and whatnot, but I feel like there wouldn't be as many school shooters if you also didn't give your kid a phone until they were 18. They didn't have access to screens where they could shoot people on the internet all hours of the day and night. They probably wouldn't be so desensitized to it when you give them a TikTok account and Instagram and tell them to meet you at home after their OnlyFans account post. This is not a child safety problem. This is we don't raise our kids problem. This is a mental health problem. This is somewhere along the way we got lazy as hell and decided to give everybody an iPad and a participation trophy. And now we wonder why nobody feels special and identifies everything under the sun except for what they actually are. And then they feel like they have to take it out on their friends. I may not be right, but I sure as hell ain't wrong. This meta settlement is coming home to us in West Virginia. West Virginia could receive nearly $115 million of that money. Of course, I'm sure that they'll use it for another Ferris wheel or flock camera that nobody approved of. Kentucky's reported share is $358 million. $358 million settlement for letting your kids play on the internet and messing up their mental health. Who's really to blame here? Is this kind of like when McDonald's made you fat? You didn't go through the drive-thru and order a dozen cookies for breakfast. No, that wasn't your fault. No. Just saying. That's not pocket change, folks. That's somebody better show us where every dime went money. Okay? Like, I know what y'all did with that opioid settlement funds, and everybody's driving brand new vehicles, and we have enough city vehicles right now to outfit and fleet Nashville, and we're not that big. Really interested to see where this money's going to go for mental health. I'm sure that we'll put more children's pictures on big signs that says, welcome back to school for your senior year. There's literally a line of 400 kids' faces on 34 going, welcome senior, welcome junior, welcome. Advertisements for peddlers. Okay, cool. Use your noggin. God. All right, in West Virginia, the Greenbrier Casino license was renewed. The West Virginia Lottery Commission has renewed the Greenbrier's casino license following a management change, one of the major stories around the state this morning. Flock cameras are still causing a fuss. Residents in Morgantown continue pushing back against the use of flock license plate reading cameras because that's not what they're using them for, and the police are using them to stalk down their ex-girlfriends like they did in Atlanta, and the entire force gets in trouble. So maybe there's always going to be abusers no matter if it's AI, flock cameras, pain pills, or fudge rounds. I'm just saying. Mental health seems to be the big consistent denominator here, and then everything else just seems to be byproducts of how crazy y'all are. Just telling you. Okay. And this issue is not just confined to West Virginia, folks. Questions about how these systems are used and potentially abused are showing up all across the country, as I just said. So, you know, we're on enough cameras. I'm on one right now. You know, whatever. Keep that story in your back pocket because Kentucky now has its own version. Deadly Nicholas County shooting. A dispute between neighbors near Richwood ended in gunfire Wednesday evening. My goodness. West Virginia State Police says one man was killed and another jailed following the shooting in Holcomb. As far as school clothing vouchers go, West Virginia's Department of Human Services says that it's nearing the completion of distributing school clothing vouchers after a summer marked by delays and questions about the program and if it would still give out stuff. Apparently they are, and they're still trying to give them out. High school football is back. Here's happier West Virginia news. High school football starts tonight, which means across the mountain state, somebody's mom is already looking for the stadium blanket while somebody's daddy's been discussing a 17-year-old quarterback like he's negotiating an NFL contract. That's what you're going to do, son. All right, Daddy. Making sure. And in Huntington, the Marshall Invitational Volleyball Tournament begins Friday at the Cam Henderson Center. Ohio plays Bucknell and Niagara Friday before facing Marshall Saturday at 5 p.m. So if you want to watch you some volleyball. Oh, Kentucky. What have y'all done while I've been gone? $358 million from Meta. As mentioned above and beforehand, Kentucky stands to receive approximately $358 million under the massive Meta child safety settlement. Wow. That's just all I got to say. Wow. That's some, wow. A very troubling flock camera case. A Kentucky state police officer, no, not state police, sorry, just a Kentucky police officer has been charged after allegedly using the flock camera information roughly 2,000 times to track a woman from Kentucky to Indiana and back and forth. See, this is what I'm talking about. Abusers. And that, children, is why privacy conversations about technology aren't just people wearing tinfoil hats. Y'all need better situational awareness, and you need to read 1984 while you're at it, too, just so you're aware of the situation that's going on. Flip through the Bible, too, because it's all going to come true. So, just be alert. Read ahead. You've got the syllabus. There's a Pike County drug bust in Kentucky. Kentucky State Police arrested 2 people following a traffic stop in Belfry. Authorities reported finding nearly 200 grams of drugs with charges involving methamphetamine, fentanyl, and MDMA. What the hell's wrong with y'all? Quit. Quit. Grow it yourself. Quit selling dope. Quit it. More than 200 dogs, a Kentucky man and woman, are facing animal cruelty charges involving the alleged neglect of more than 200 dogs. I bet I could tell you who they are and where they live. Quit being animal hoarders. If you can't take care of the ones you got, give them to somebody else. Put them on Facebook Marketplace. Volunteer at the shelter. But, it's like them people who collect foster children and then wonder why all of them get on Oprah and accuse them of terrible stuff just because you're collecting the money. Just don't do that stuff. Just stop doing that. I have nothing funny to say about that. Stop it. UK agriculture money. Senator Mitch McConnell announced $26.7 million in federal funding for University of Kentucky agriculture research. Did he? And when did he? Was this sometime in the last 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days? When did Mitch McConnell say anything about anything when he wasn't hooked up to a ventilator or buried 6 foot under and they're lying about it? Whoever said it, it was from Mitch McConnell's office. An important Kentucky journalism. Apparently, the internet is still talking about the 2026 Kentucky State Fair winning cake because people believe it did not contain enough layers. Listen, we are Kentuckians. You can fool us about a lot of things, but you can't come in here half-assing some cake. Country music news, Dolly. There really isn't a way to do the country music news this week without beginning and ending with Dolly. 2 days after her death at 80 years old, tributes continue pouring in from seemingly every corner of music and American culture. And Nashville is grieving her very publicly. I saw a really touching tribute from Sly Stallone last night. Flowers, notes, and memorials have appeared around the city. And the Opry will honor her on Saturday night as the Grand Ole Opry will dedicate its Saturday, August the 29th show to Dolly's life and legacy. Scheduled performers include Carly Pierce, Kathy Mattea, T. Graham Brown, Molly Tuttle, who's just now recently married. Congratulations. Dan Tominski, Channing Wilson, who I love so good, and Belle France. Going to be a really good show. So, the Opry has already begun paying tribute as Rhonda Vincent performed Coat of Many Colors, 9 to 5, and Jolene, while Morgan Moss performed I Will Always Love You this week. Harry Styles stopped during opening night of his sold-out Madison Square Garden residency and led the audience in an I Will Always Love You tribute, which I thought was awesome. Miley posted an emotional tribute to her godmother, saying that she would always love her and wanted to continue to make her proud, and was seen entering the recording studio in Hollywood just yesterday. So, she's back to work. And Lord, that's one that'll get you, because the whole world lost Dolly Parton. Miley lost her Dolly. That is not the same thing. That's like losing your mama. Just, whew. Even Eminem had a Dolly story. Did you see this? Oh, wait a minute, that's a female hummingbird. She's speckled. Hi, little baby. Eminem shared a letter that Dolly had written years earlier to him, and he called her an icon. She I read the letter to Eminem, and it said something like, I don't listen to a lot of rap, but apparently you're the best at it, and I feel a strong kinship with you because I was also grew up poor and didn't stay where I was, and you just keep doing you. And I was like, she had never even met him and sent him such a sweet little letter. That's the most Dolly Parton thing imaginable. Somehow Dolly belonged equally to the Pentecostal grandmother in East Tennessee and to Eminem. It just blows my mind. In Appalachia, sheep wool may become house insulation. Have you seen this? Here's exactly the kind of story that the Porch paper was invented for. Researchers and sheep farmers in Southwest Virginia are studying whether wool that currently has little commercial value would instead be used better as home insulation. Because apparently Appalachians looked at a sheep in a house and said, well, hell, surely one of these can fix the other. I support that kind of thinking. In the weather desk here in Tays Valley, West Virginia, the National Weather Service forecast has updated this morning. Across West Virginia today is generally looking partly cloudy with scattered rain chances depending on your location, followed by considerably sunnier weekend for much of the mountain state. Tropical storm Dolly is now forming in the Atlantic, as is fitting for the week that we've had. She went out like a hurricane. And here's something to watch further down the road. Forecasters are increasingly confident that the strong El Nino is developing for fall and winter, potentially affecting weather patterns across the United States. So, stock up, load up, get ready, and be warm because it's going to be it's going to be a real tough winter. It really is. Just put away everything you can. The Farmer's Almanac, meanwhile, is calling for a winter of sharp contrast with snow, cold, rain, sleet, and ice, and a combination of all those things depending on where you live. In other words, the winter will contain winter weather. Thank you, Farmer's Almanac. Look up tonight. This is worth remembering. A deep partial lunar eclipse occurs overnight tonight into Friday morning with about 96% of the moon entering the Earth's shadow. It won't technically be a total blood moon, but the moon may take a reddish-orange appearance during the event. So if you're out and about this evening, make sure you look up. In Kentucky and West Virginia, sky watchers are among those being told to look up the most this evening because it's going to be near our neck of the woods. So if the clouds cooperate, go outside and look at the moon. People have been doing that for thousands of years, and as far as I know, it's still free. Also happening above our heads, the sun has apparently decided that the moon shouldn't get all the attention this week. A coronal mass ejection associated with a strong solar flare is expected to reach Earth around the mid-afternoon tomorrow, potentially producing moderate geomagnetic storms and auroral activity. So you might get to see some northern lights, and your cell phone might not work as good, and that's why. So between the eclipse and the solar activity, the heavens are putting on a better show than half the streaming services. So go outside and look up. On this day, August 27th in history, in 1962, NASA launched Mariner 2, which went on to become the very first spacecraft successfully to fly by another planet as it passed Venus. So, good job. In 1991, Moldova declared independence from the Soviet Union. Today marks its 35th Independence Day. Mazel tov to Moldova. 2003, Mars made its closest approach to Earth in nearly 60,000 years, but who would know because nobody was alive back then to write it down. So, and on August 27, 1990, the music world lost legendary blues guitarist Stevie Ray Vaughan. Born today on this date in 1908 was Lyndon B. Johnson. Also born August 27th, Paul Rubens, who was Pee Wee Herman in 1952. Could you imagine that'd be a dinner party to go to? Pee Wee Herman and Lyndon B. Johnson. Whose birthday is it? Pee Wee Herman's and LBJ's. Huh. Alright, I'm game. On this day in country music, in 2013, Alabama and Friends was released, a tribute album featuring artists including Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, Rascal Flatts, and Kenny Chesney, honoring one of country's most defining groups. 10 things you didn't know that you needed to know, and if you've already known them from this week, then you win the quiz. Octopuses have 3 hearts. Bananas are berries. Strawberries are not. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance, which is exactly correct. And I refuse to hear any arguments about it. Wombat poop is cube-shaped. Honey is edible for an astonishingly long time as long as it's properly sealed and cared for. And the dot over a lowercase I or J is called a tittle. Don't forget your tittles when you're dotting your I's and J's. Sea otters sometimes hold hands while they sleep so they don't drift away from each other. Me and Sean do that too. I know it's just a king-size bed, but had it been a water bed, I would have ended up way far away. The fingerprints of koalas look very similar to human fingerprints. So if you're committing a crime in Australia, just watch out. You might have an alibi. A standard deck of 52 cards can be arranged in more possible orders than there are estimated atoms on Earth. So if you wonder why you're losing in Vegas, it's because the odds are literally against you. Which means if you thoroughly shuffle a deck, there's an excellent chance that the exact order you're holding has never existed before in the history of creation. Don't bet your money in Vegas. Don't do it. In the Porch Almanac today, we're entering that peculiar Appalachian stretch where summer hasn't surrendered, but autumn has begun sending those threatening letters. Tomatoes are getting tired, weeds remain deeply committed to their careers, and chickens are beginning to moult and look like they've recently survived a divorce. The garden is deciding what it's going to give you and what it's keeping for itself at this point. It's like, this is mine. This is mine. We have time. Somewhere, somebody has already put out a decorative pumpkin despite it being the 27th day of August, and I need them to calm down. You have time. Calm down. In your porch scripture today, and apparently depending on what an official calendar you consult, today has been observed as a day devoted to forgiveness. That's inconvenient for me, because Jesus had something to say about that too. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Notice he didn't say they deserved it. That's in Matthew 6:14, by the way. Didn't say that they apologized correctly. Didn't say that you had let them back in the house. Didn't say that you're still best friends with them. It just said forgiveness and access are not always the same thing. Sometimes forgiveness simply means I'm not carrying what you did to me everywhere I go anymore. That's enough work for one Thursday. Sometimes your blessing is waiting on the other side of a prayer that you won't pray for somebody that you think didn't deserve it. Forgive them. Even if they don't apologize, and they might never will. But it ain't really about them, is it? Final word from the porch. That's a Thursday morning. There's a war overseas. West Virginia football's back. Kentucky's fighting over cake. Somebody wants to insulate Appalachian houses with wool. The main's fixing to turn red. The sun's throwing plasma. Addison, Nashville's covered in flowers for Miss Dolly Parton. And your humble correspondent has already gone to the gym and taken a nap today, so I don't know what else America expects from me. So today, just drink your water. Check on your people. Forgive somebody if you can. Leave the chickens alone, Sarah. And go outside and look at the moon tonight. And if all you got left in you is enough energy to sit on the porch a while, sit down. The world will keep spinning without your supervision or your commentary. That's all I know for today. Remember, tonight is the Feral Christian at 7 p.m. right here on this porch. I might be wearing the same thing because me and Sean are going to go on an adventure today. So I am ready to go. But in the meantime, friends, I love you and I mean that. Keep your Bibles open, your padded around your head on the swivel because people are acting crazy this day and age. Be nice to old people, animals, and children. Try to love your neighbor. Forgive somebody. Give it to God. And remember that I love you and he does too. And there's nothing that you can do about it. In the meantime, friends, remember until I see you tonight at 7 o'clock right here on this porch. I'm Sarah Beth Terry. You're not. Bye.